Alright, for 17 they give you the volume of a box, of a rectangular prism, or a box, right? And they give you the height. So they want to know possible dimensions for the length and width. Well, we have to first divide 8x into the volume to see what the product of the length and width is, because you know that volume equals length times width times height. So if we know height, we divide it over here by, let's see, divide it here and it cancels there. So when you divide it, then you get the product of length times width, right? And this kind of looks like an upside down A, but it's a V. I just messed up on that. Okay, so we're going to divide 96x cubed plus 344x squared plus 280x. I'll add the 0 in case we need it. So 8 goes into 96 12 times. So it's 12x squared. So that gives you 96x cubed, and it cancels, so you bring down the 344x squared. Now 8 goes into 344 43 times. And so that's 344 exactly. So you subtract, you get another 0, bring down the 280. Okay? And 8 goes into 280 35 times. So 35 times 8 is 280x, and you get the remainder 0. So we have to factor this quadratic to get the possible length and width dimensions. So the good thing about this is that, let me just first write it out over here. When you multiply these two, you get, let's see, 35 times 12, you can work it out. Okay, that's going to be 420x squared. And factors of 420, there's a lot of them that for 420. But go through the list and you're going to find that 28x times 15x, those two multiply to give you 420, and they add up to give you 43, which is what you're looking for. So from here, I go ahead and use the little box. So I put the 12x squared right here, the 28x right here, 15x right here, that's 15, and then the 35 right here. So the greatest common factor in the first row is going to be 4x. So 3x times 4x gives me 12x squared. 7 times 4x is 28x, and then 5 times 3x is 15x. And I always check whether this number and this number give me the product of this times this gives me this, and the answer is yes. So then that means that the factors are 3x plus 7 times 4x plus 5. So one of them is the length and the other one's the width. So these are the possible dimensions of length and width. Okay, so for number 18, it's a little twist on number 17, because for 17 they gave you one dimension and you had to find the two missing ones. This one they give you two dimensions and you have to find the third one. Okay, we're still talking about the volume of a box, and which is given right there. And so they gave you this as one dimension and this as the other one, so we're going to multiply them together to get x squared minus, and I'm just using distributive property, 3x minus x plus 3. So this gives me x squared minus 4x plus 3. So I'm going to divide this polynomial, the volume, by this one. So I can't use synthetic division, I have to use long division. Oh, I think I copied it wrong, let me see. Yeah, it's 8x squared. There, now it makes more sense. So I'm going to put x cubed minus 8x squared plus 19x minus 12. And what do I have to multiply x squared by to get x cubed? That would be x. And so that's x cubed minus 4x squared plus 3x. And then so we're subtracting, so we're adding the opposite. Combine like terms, or combine the two rows, and you get negative 4x squared plus 16x, and you bring down the negative 12. And then what do you have to multiply x squared by to get negative 4x squared? That would be minus 4. So negative 4x squared plus 16x minus 12. When we subtract, we add the opposite. And notice you get remainder 0. So the other dimension for this of this box is x minus 4. Okay, that's a missing dimension. Okay, so the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. And so they gave you the base as 4a squared c, and they gave you the height as 6a cubed minus 5ac minus 3. Okay, so it says write and simplify an expression for the area. So all we have to do is distribute. Okay, now first off I'm going to say 1/2 of 4 is 2. So right here right off the bat I'm going to change this and make this a 2. Because 1/2 times 4 is 2. So now I distribute this here, and you get 2 times 6 is 12. And then a squared times a cubed is a to the 5th, and then don't forget there's a c. Then I'm going to distribute that term here. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. A squared times a is a cubed, and c times c is c squared. Then I'm going to multiply this with a negative 3, and negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, a squared c. So this is the expression for the area of that triangle. The formula for the area of a trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. You could also break it up into the trapezoid into 2 triangles and a rectangle. That's another possibility. But for now, let's just keep the formula. So base 1 plus base 2, we're going to add x plus 8, that's one of the bases, plus the other base, which is 3x plus 4. We're going to divide this by 2, and then whatever we get, we're going to multiply by the height, which is x minus 1. So in the numerator, I get 3x and 1x, that's 4x. And then 8 and 4 is 12. So I noticed that, and then don't forget the x minus 1. The numerator is divisible by 2. So I'm going to factor out a 2, like this. So the 2's cancel. And then there's x minus 1. So distributive property, 2x squared minus 2x plus 6x minus 6. These two combine. 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. This is the expression for the area of the trapezoid. So they don't give you units, so we just say units cubed. Cubed squared. So we want the volume of each box. Remember, volume is length, width times height. So one of them is going to be, the first one is x plus 3 for the length on the base. Then x minus 1 is the width. And then the height would be x plus 3. Okay, that's how high it is. It looks like a 3, yeah. So notice that there are two, well, it doesn't really matter. You could do these together or these together. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, it really doesn't matter. So let me just keep it in the order that I have it. So x plus 3. And then this would be x squared plus 3x. And again, I'm just doing distributive property with the last two factors. So this is going to be x plus 3. X squared plus 2x minus 3. And then if you want, just keep using distributive property, or place it in a little grid, 2 by 3 grid like this. So you get x cubed, 2x squared, negative 3x because we're multiplying, 3x squared, 6x, and negative 9. So the volume of that first box is x cubed. There are two squares right here, so that's 5x squared. There are two x's right here, so that's 3x minus 9. And this is going to be cubic units because it's volume. Okay, so now we're going to set up the second triangle. I'm sorry, the second cube. So the base is x, it's hard to read it, x plus 5. It looks like a 5. The width is x minus 1, and the height is x plus 5. So for this one, I'll go ahead and do these first, or do these together. So when you multiply this, you get x squared plus 10x plus 25. That's how you square a binomial. But if you don't know how I got the 10x, just do it the way we did the previous cube, or the not cube, but the previous box, where you just use distributive property. Okay, so now you can set up your 2 by 3, or just again continue using distributive property. Either one's fine. I'm just going to put the x minus 1 right here. X squared, 10x, and 25. So you multiply. This is x cubed, 10x squared, 25x, negative x squared, negative 10x, and negative 25. So the volume for the second box is x cubed, 10 minus 1x squared, that gives you 9x squared. Negative 10x and 25x, that gives you 15x minus 25. And again, because it's a volume, it's cubic units.